it's really listening to the business community more than just saying, we're doing this for you. We need to listen to members. So I think members can expect from this chamber that leadership is going to say, how can we evolve with you? What do you need? What do you need as we transition?
Audio Jungle.
Hello and welcome to Business Focus, produced by the Greater Reston Chamber of Commerce. My name is Angela Inzarella with Impact Business Solutions, and I'm privileged to be your host as we highlight the great work our local businesses are doing. Well, welcome. Today is going to be an exciting show. I'm very excited that you are here. And if you're not already subscribed to our channel, please subscribe, like, comment, share, do all those fun things that you're supposed to do on social media. So let's get right to the show. I'm super excited to welcome the Reston Chamber's new interim CEO, Ms. Courtney Bulger. Courtney, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Super excited.
Super excited for you to be here. Yeah. Courtney's, 6 weeks in?
6 weeks in.
Like Courtney, I'm really thrilled to have you here. So yes, interim CEO, we'll talk a little bit about that too, kind of your role, but why don't you share for the folks that maybe haven't met you yet? And I know you've been to every event and you've talked to so many members and people. Why don't you share, a couple minutes on your background? Yeah, where do you come from?
Okay. Been in Northern Virginia since I graduated from college, and have been in Richmond. Came up here, ended up getting married up here, finished grad school at George Mason, and started my career here. Very quickly moved into community. I was with the Northern Virginia Chamber of Commerce, then moved to the school system, everything doing business relations, nonprofit, executive, association work. I have been working in this community for 30 years, raised my kids, lived in Herndon, most of that, the last 31 years, and recently retired. So last full-time job was the executive director of the American Red Cross for the Northern Virginia area. Found out there was an opportunity to come back and maybe be interim at Reston. And as many people have heard the story, this was my dream job. I applied for it 20 years ago. Unfortunately, didn't get it at the time because God had other plans, but thought it was a wonderful opportunity to come back, use some of my skills. I still feel like I want to work and contribute. And it has really been just kind of a perfect fit. So knowing this community, knowing the business community, knowing the community leaders, I wanted to get involved. And it has been, I've been here 6 weeks. I feel like I've been here for years. Love it. I feel like I feel home. And that's been great.
Oh, that's so perfect. I think you stated it so perfectly. It's so, so true. You are a natural fit. There's so many aspects of it. The reason that the chamber decided to do an interim role was specifically that, right? To have someone come in and kind of give us an outside perspective, but also fit in, right? Keep the momentum, continue to grow. We're not at a halt by any stretch.
Right.
It's really important that we take a look at it, take a step back. It's really a perfect time to do that and look inside the organization. The world is changing, as you know, chambers, associations, and you have a ton of that background.
Yep.
So from, being at the Northern Virginia Chamber back 20 plus years ago and being part of Dulles for a while and, knowing Reston as you do and the association, the world has changed.
Yeah.
So now is a perfect time. And you fit in, and yeah, it is your home. So, I want to talk a little bit about that too. So we don't like to talk bad about our home, right? So no, not that it's bad. It's all good. But, kind of coming in this first stint, there are certain things that, yes, I'm going to assess and I'm going to look at the operations of the organization and I'm going to give feedback and we're going to do an analysis and talk to all the right people. But what are some of the things that you've seen like immediately, like behind the curtain and maybe surprised you a little bit?
From pretty much the first week, this community has just a special feeling. And I guess I've always known that. I've always felt, because I lived in Herndon, but really 2 miles from Reston Town Center. Yeah. Kids went to South Lakes. I feel like I've always been a Restonian, but I didn't live in Reston. It's just such a special community, almost a small community within a big community. And I tell people, Fairfax County with 1 million people in population, we're still a small town. And
right.
But it has been really neat to be part of the energy and the family that I feel here. And from every meeting, whether there's 5 people in the room or 100 people, there's just a special feeling. And that is what I've really loved. And then finding people that are coming from Loudon and Chantilly, but they're coming to Reston because there's something about this environment and this business environment that people want. And that has really, not that it opened my eyes because I've known it, but to be part of it is really cool.
Yeah, and I think you make a perfect point about the community and feeling a part of the community. And I don't think that's changed. I remember when I first joined the chamber back in 2009 and being in the chamber world. And, James and I, we just, left corporate. We started our own practice. And I had to get clients. We had a short runway. And it was a different mentality. And I say this when we do Chamber 101 every month. It's like as soon as I started taking a different approach of giving back, business just came, right? So I got to make friendships, got to really know people. I hear more about that when you go around in the room and do introductions. People want to be part of their community. Yes, we want to grow a business.
Yeah.
Yes, we want to be visible. And of course,
but you
get
also
clients.
do business with people you like and care about, and you want to refer people. And so you still want that kind of small community feel. And that is really what I'm enjoying seeing and feeling every time I go into a room.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome. So yeah, you've spoken to quite a few members, both of small folks that maybe had just joined, maybe a few people that have not been a part of the chamber in a while, and some of our larger sponsors. Like, what are you hearing? Come, give me the vibe overall.
Well, I would say, one of the big things that I've picked up on in the last 6 weeks is I really want to get back to our hospitality. I want to get back to our restaurants and our hotels. I think the Reston Chamber grew as we grew Reston. There were restaurants and there were some offices, et cetera, but we have grown into this kind of metropolitan area with the Silver Line out here. We've got kind of state of the art everything. You've opened the JW Marriott. You've got some really incredible restaurants. I want to bring that back, this kind of energy. We used to do, I wasn't here, but Taste of Reston, and we did a lot of big events at the Reston Town Center, and unfortunately as times have changed, that's changed. And so, but I think we're missing that connection with our hotels and with our restaurants. So that would be one thing I'd really like to focus on, because that brings people together. Whether it's the cup of coffee at La Madeleine's or it's the beer at Morton's or wherever, having that camaraderie, having that business luncheon. Just had lunch at the Reston Town Center. I've eaten more meals and met more people, at the Town Center and right here at Reston Station. So that's one area. The other is just the growth and change in this community. It's just grown so much. And it's one of those where as so many things change, a lot of things still stay the same. So it's fun to go into a room where there's familiar faces and there's the new faces. And so it's change, but it's still, like I said, it's home, but there's new faces, there's new businesses, there's bigger buildings, that kind of thing. And that's what's been great. For those of us that went to Reston Town Center when a majority of those buildings were really surface parking lots, before we had any of the parking garages, it's just different. And that's exciting to see that change as well. I feel kind of old saying that. Like, I was talking to somebody last night, we were talking about Route 7 and used to have this 1-lane bridge and stuff like that. West Ox had a 1-lane bridge.
Oh yeah.
And now they're like major corridors. But that's how things changed, and that's kind of been neat to watch and see and be part of.
Well, you said, a lot of people coming from Loudon, and I see this too, businesses that are, west of here and they're coming from Loudon and they want to closer to the district, and then they come into the Reston because we're like the hub, we're the center of Fairfax County, really. And then you've got a lot of the DC businesses that are coming out here because the Silver Line just makes it so much easier. So I'm finding, and then even organizations, they're like, well, I live here. My company may not be here, but I live here. Right. So they want to be in the backyard. So yeah, it definitely is this, it baffles me. So we'll share a little secret here. Courtney and I never knew each other. Right. And I was part of the interview process, and I come to find out she's also a University of Richmond graduate, right? Go Spiders. It's hysterical because I was like, how do I not know her? And then she's just like, well, we're on Facebook. We have so many common friends. How is it possible we know each other? And I knew we only graduated a year apart. Meanwhile, for some reason, my LinkedIn wasn't proper. So I was 10 years off. So apparently I graduated in 2000, but I didn't. And so anyway, we come to find out we have all of these common friends, and I am sure that we partied on fraternity row at some point, Courtney. I am not surprised. I mean, studied at the
Yes,
Heilman
yes, at the
Library.
library together. Yes.
I ran the computer room there. So it's possible that when you were doing a paper and you needed to
Yeah, we
print
were
it
together.
out and your
Exactly.
printer got stuck, I helped. So anyway,
Yes.
for
The dot matrix printers.
dot matrix. Yes, sure. Just age us a little bit more.
Yeah.
She is older. I will say that. No. Anyway. No, I love this area. And you're right. There's so many opportunities for businesses and people to get engaged and get involved in the chamber. We talk a little bit about the energy of the organization. I mean, how are you feeling? And I'm just feeling people get more excited about getting involved in the community and get involved in the chamber. So with your stint here, a few months that you'll be with the chamber, and you look behind the curtain and you see all these opportunities, give us a little insight on what you think members can expect just next year for the feel of the chamber based on some of the things that we're trying to do.
Well, I think right now, as someone said to me, it's easy to be a leader in good times. It's
Yeah.
harder to be a good leader in bad times because you've got to make tough decisions. And we have some tough times right now with the current government shutdown,
Yeah.
with a lot of unknowns, from tariffs to lots of things happening on the political climate, both locally and federally. And so it's really listening to the business community more than just saying, we're doing this for you. We need to listen to members. So I think members can expect from this chamber that leadership is going to say, how can we evolve with you?
With you.
And that's what I want to do is be not, these are the 10 things we're going to offer this year. No, what do you need? What do you need as we transition? People have said whether it's, there's workforce issues, there's housing issues. We need to keep asking the businesses what they want and getting that feedback so that we're constantly changing and giving them what they need. And that's that communication back and forth. So really being able to understand from the business community, small and large. So for a small business, how are you getting business? How can I help you get business? And to a big business, maybe they have the business, but they don't get the employees. So now as a chamber, we've got to help both get whatever they might need, and they might be very separate needs. And so the challenge to us as an organization is how best to do that. So I think you're going to see that in the next year as we look at how we can keep the things that are working, how we need to change and adapt to things that may not be working, how we can reach out to new industries that may not be as engaged with the chamber. Those are the things I would hope. I want people to still be energetic. I want them to be hopeful. There's so many great things that we can you can let the cloudy days get you down, but sunshine will come again. And so it's important that we stick together through those times, and that this organization is the backbone and the support for all the businesses while we're going through that together. So I see us weathering the storm together and being stronger on the other side.
I like the way you say it. All organizations, I mean, especially chambers, membership organizations we talked about, all right, they go through tough times. And the membership organizations, and I tell new members this all the time, the organization is made up of the members. So we don't work for the organization, right? We are the organization as members. So we can help drive programming.
Yes.
And what I see as a unique benefit of membership at Reston particularly is the fact that we can raise our hand and help with the programming that we have.
Yep.
Yes, that's going to benefit the community, but also it's going to benefit our businesses. I always tell people that, we want you to be a leader. We want you to stand up.
Right.
It's not always raising your hand to volunteer to do something you don't want to do. It's to benefit you as well. And there's you said it perfectly, especially back in the day when we were doing Taste of Reston and Oktoberfest, and we had a lot more of the restaurants engaged in the hospitality world. Like our health and wellness is now thriving, the organizations that are part, right?
Yeah.
So, and that ebbs and flows. So it's real. I
Well,
love
there's
the
been a
energy
whole
piece.
focus on wellness, right? And
Right.
so it makes sense that businesses have come to be, that people are using education. We
Right.
have had crisis in healthcare. So those are the conversations we need to be having. And good, let's pivot. Let's talk about it. Let's work on it. Let's introduce those businesses and figure out, let's make our community healthier. So no, I think it's awesome, and it's a neat change to see.
Yeah, and it's not just about having a conversation with one person, whether it's HR or the community affairs person. It's really penetrating the organization with their young professionals, with their women leadership,
Yep,
right? With all of the different departments that could all benefit from being a
definitely.
member of the chamber,
I
to
just
go
met with
forward.
probably a 30-year member just for lunch today. And he shared, I need to get other people involved. I've been involved for 30 years or
Right.
20 years or whatever, but I have not done a good job of like saying, hey, other departments. Or he's like, I got engaged because I believe in it, but
Right.
I need to do a better job in my own company of saying, you come along with me, or maybe you would get something out of it. Different department, different,
Yeah.
subject matter or whatever. And I thought that was really telling. It's like we kind of get set in our ways and saying, well, I'm engaged, but how am I helping other people within my organization, especially the big companies?
Yeah.
So that is something else we're looking at.
And we need to do a better job too. We got to remind ourselves to ask those questions,
Right.
and like you said, hey, sending out an invoice, remind them, let's update our profile. I mean, you
Yeah.
think it's basic.
Yeah. But it's
Um,
not. I mean, it,
it,
it is, but it isn't.
correct. There's something you just take for granted. Hence the reason why these fresh eyes,
Yeah.
your fresh eyes are fantastic. If you haven't met Courtney, she's not shy about telling you. I mean, she'd be very nice about it. No, but Courtney, it's for the betterment of the
Of
organization.
the
So no,
organization.
it's all wonderful. It's all good. So
Yep.
yeah, so we are looking ahead, and I guess along the lines of answering the question from before, I I think I'd like to understand your perspective of what type of individual do you think would make a good next CEO? As you look at leadership style and skills and what it takes to not just be it, because we look at the chamber, I look at the chamber as an organization and as a business, right? But it's
Mhm.
also a community leader. So,
Right.
and we play a certain role in that regard. So, what would you say are some of these traits or skill sets that our next leader needs to have, our next permanent leader?
Well, I think first of all, you have to understand the role of the business community in the community to begin with, right? And it's part of the economic
Yeah,
development. It's part of what makes Reston, makes Northern Virginia the economic engine of the whole state, of the whole
right,
Commonwealth.
right.
So you've got to understand the business role. I think the second piece of that is then caring about the business role. You need to care about everybody from the Mary Kay salesperson to your Microsofts and Googles. And so, how do you balance that? And that sometimes is difficult,
Mhm.
and I think chambers have always struggled with that because big businesses can pay bigger dollars, but 80% of your chambers are small business.
Right,
And
right,
a majority of our business communities are small business. It's your accountants, it's your lawyers, it's small business, it's your restaurants, and that is what makes the world go round. So needing kind of an understanding of all of that, and then the next thing is to just care about this community. I think it's really hard. Not that you could be anywhere and start caring about that community, but you need to know and care about Reston because we do have, I think, a unique area, which is what Robert Simon found years ago. And I think someone just sent me an article about why Reston really can't be duplicated. I mean, it was a concept, but I think you need to understand why this community was formed, how it has evolved. So I think that's important. But I think, just basically caring about how the businesses fit into this picture and and understanding this community, and then how Reston fits in with the bigger. How does Reston fit in
right,
with Fairfax County?
right,
How does
right,
it fit in with the Commonwealth of Virginia? And how do we fit in the DMV? I mean, it's everything from transportation to development, to data centers. There's big issues and little issues. And so, a chamber exec's got to have kind of a little bit of knowledge of all of that and care about all of that. You almost have to care about the stop sign that is either impacting or not, or the parking issue impacting the businesses, to the data center, to the schools, because businesses do come here, and their employees want good schools. So I think that most people that are going to apply to be a chamber executive is going to know that. But I do feel Reston's a little unique. I'd hate to see somebody come from like another state and say, "Oh, I could do that in Reston." No, I think you need to know this area and care about this area and know a little of the history before and during, and respect and honor that, because it's a big piece of who we are.
Absolutely. No, and I think you said it perfectly about respect and honor it. And I think a lot of the executive team would agree with you, because there is that perspective of getting someone's from the outside to be in here, and the understanding is a lot harder. But I do see us playing a bigger role because we are currently in Fairfax County, right?
Yes.
So we have those connections and the relationships and organizations that are members to be a bigger player. So you said it, right? You said it in the county, then Virginia, and then the regions. So I agree with you. I think we play a much bigger part, in the coming years. So we'll see if we can, keep you around as long as possible. But, we're trying to steady the ship, get through the rest of the year.
I'm having fun. So you're not getting rid of me anytime soon.
Good. And I'm not going to keep you out of retirement forever. So Courtney, I really appreciate you being here as always. We have become fast friends, and I am thrilled for your leadership. Also, like I said, thrilled with your perspective and your insights on how, we can be a better organization as a whole, and a better region too.
Well, thank you. I look forward to continuing to work with you and everyone else on both the exec and board, and all of our members, as we continue to strengthen our chamber, to strengthen our whole community, and continue to make this a great place to live and work.
Perfect. All right, my dear. Well, thank you for being here, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Yeah.
And we look forward to seeing you on our next episode. Stay in touch with us for future episodes. Like, subscribe, and share. See you next time.